Welcome, Phoenix Knights, to my last Phoenix Table Talk. But do not fear, because you're in good hands with John from Phoenix Community Capital. You'll be getting a chance to know John a little bit more in due time. But more importantly, you want to hear from a certain gentleman. If you didn't know, Eric Marshall, our ex-CEO, has now stepped down and he has decided to solely become the chairman. Now, if you've missed his video that went out a few hours, be sure to watch it in the description down below. But today, we are not talking about Eric. We're looking forward and we're also focusing on the present. And that's our current CEO at Phoenix Community Capital. As a nest holder, I'm excited to bring Marcus up. I've worked with him in the past and he is the right man for this job. So without further ado, welcome on stage, Marcus Overhaus. Hey there, Marcus.
Hi, Jordan. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here. And it's an absolute pleasure.
It's my pleasure too, sir, because I know you personally, but I know the community don't know who you are. And if they did read a Medium article about you, they would know that you are qualified, but there's so much more to you than your past. So Marcus, the first question is, can you tell us a little bit about your educational background, previous work experience, and how would you define Marcus?
Yeah, my educational background is I was always, when I was young, fascinated by mathematics and physics. So I obviously ended up studying it, made my PhDs in it, and had a fantastic time in academia. And then decided it was time to leave and do some business. I entered then basically the traditional finance world, working for major investment banks. And other financial institutions, in different capacities, on different senior levels, up, global mandates, where I had worldwide responsibilities in those houses. And I truly enjoyed that. And that's where this was pretty much 23 years of my life where I worked in traditional finance, fairly successful, I have to say. And at the end, I decided basically to take a step back and saw this blockchain technology arriving and was very fascinated with this and the whole thing about like decentralized finance. And I do truly believe that that is the future for finance. And therefore, I was very, very eager to explore opportunities. And, Eric and Luke, I met them through a common contact who put us in touch, and I liked very much the business idea, and that's how things basically came into place, and that's how I eventually joined Phoenix Community Capital.
Excellent. And I was there that night when you met them in person.
Yes.
And it's refreshing to see the impact that you've had behind closed doors. And I hope for the community, in fact, I know for the community, it's refreshing now seeing your face, hearing your voice, and knowing that the right man is in charge. So with that being said, Marcus, we'll jump to the first question where we need to unpack quite a lot,
right.
Which is, what changes do you hope to implement at PCC?
Yeah, where should I start? It's a big one. Basically, the changes that I try to implement or that need to be implemented is, I would like to have transparency. This is one of the most important things. And I, refer to an article I had, I was interviewed earlier when I joined in my capacity as a CFO, that I said, I believe in transparency, and I do believe in it, because, if you do the right things for the right reasons, you have nothing to hide. Point one. Point two, there needs to be very, very solid financial controls. There need to be operational controls. Right now, mistakes have been made in the past, big mistakes. And we are in a phase right now to rectify this, so that we build a foundation which is solid and which is rational, on which we can build and go forward. So this is what we're doing right now. So this is for me a very, very, very important thing. Having said that, with it comes sometimes fairly unpleasant things for other people, that you have to basically reduce drastically costs. Right now, we are experiencing a crypto winter, so a mega bear market. You have to adjust to that in the interest of for everyone, for the financial sake of the company. Unfortunately, that meant that we are willing here. We made a lot of people, dear friends, redundant, laid off, because surely we could not afford this amount of employees anymore. And it is ultimately for the sake and for the good for the community, because everything is based in this business model. The foundation of everything is our community. And I do understand, having watched this for some limited amount of time, that there's a lot of frustration within the community, a lot of answers and questions, a lot of non-transparency, vacuum. I'm trying to change this going forward. And putting the right controls into place, I think this is absolutely paramount. I tried to do that when I joined as a CFO. We made good strides in the financial world. We're way not yet there, but we continue. But now, being the new CEO, I have more power to do it basically everywhere, and this needs to be done. And that's why we're gonna go ahead full steam. And then on this, we try to create, I would say, a minimum critical mass going forward, getting us through this crypto winter without paralyzing ourselves. So that means when we get out and the climate is a bit better for us in terms of economical details, we won't be able to not do deals. We want to be there to scale up. So very important is we scale down, but we also we want to build something that is scalable. So we scale up when the climate is right for us.
And to add on as well, Marcus, because I know we've spoken offline before, professionalism, something which PCC has been criticized for in the past. Is this at the forefront of your mind as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this goes without saying. I think people that know me, that how I run meetings, what I expect from people is very, very high standards. I'm well known for that in the traditional financial world. That my standards are sometimes as high that some people say this is too high. But I do believe in that. And professionalism is something that I always believe in. It's the way you interact in meetings. It's the way you treat your colleagues. It's in everything. Your partners in business. It's professionalism is something that I wouldn't even mention it. It's so paramount. This is such a foundation that I don't know. Without professionalism, nothing can happen, to be honest.
Couldn't agree more, Marcus. And considering this is your first time on camera, you're doing tremendous. So if you're okay, we're going to keep on going, and we're going to go on to the next question.
Yeah, of course.
Is, can you give us an overview of the business model moving forward? Because it's obvious that the business model as it stands, it's, in your words, would you say it's insufficient? And of course, something needs to change moving forward.
I would say the business model as such is what I call a community venture capital firm. So what does it mean? And then let me explain this, and then I come back to maybe some drawbacks we're having so far, or in the past. What that means is you raise capital via a community, which is a good thing, and I always believed in that. That's why I first was attracted to get in touch with PCC. You don't need institutional investors to do venture capital. They have a lot of funds. I mean, it is very, very interesting to give the opportunity to people that usually would not have the money or the size, or would not qualify for the threshold to do a traditional venture capital. So you pool this money from your community, and therefore you give a chance to everyone to participate in the success, which I think is very, very nice and very good, and I believe in that. Now, what is our business model? So we take this capital and we see opportunity in the with startup firms, mainly in on and off blockchain technologies, and we look very careful and have to be very diligent and analyzing opportunities there. That is also an opportunity to get these sometimes really interesting ideas from really, really small enterprises. To give them capital so that they can start their operation and can fulfill their dream and their strategy, but at the same time helping them with certain things. You see, It's not just to give them capital, it's also to give them expertise. Expertise can be like operational expertise, can be financial. We can work with them, making a business plan for them. A lot of people have fantastic ideas, technology people, but sometimes they don't really are that experienced or exposed to writing a business plan, or to put financials down and put it down and forecast their financial revenues for the future. So we can do that with them, and therefore bring them over time to the next stage where this is successful, where this is going to be monetizing, and therefore they can, if they want, approach bigger firms, private equity firms, to make them really big. But they could not do this in the first place because they don't have the capital. So this is a journey we can do, and on this journey, of course, we have our fees, we have our opportunities and our return. But this is how it starts. It starts with the community, and this is so important to see this. This is your foundation. Now, what I see, what has been done in terms of going, if I look hindsight, this process has not been a smooth one. This process has, sometimes what I call the due diligence was not always there. There was a lot of goodwill, that has not always been rewarded. Like some people, you meet different people with different integrity in the business, and it's not always clear. So therefore, it's paramount to me that we need to take into account every talent we have here in our firm, and we have a lot. With different skill set, different talents, to create something that we can look and analyze potential opportunities, look at their financial planning, and then discuss and make a mutual consensus decision. Do we want to invest on behalf of the community? Because that's how I see it. It is not I want to invest. I want to invest on behalf of the community. Without them, I wouldn't sit here. So and I think there, sometimes when the crypto world was going to a mega bull market, meaning extremely just the J curve was going up. Yes, you think like, oh, it's going fantastically well, and usually in those times you make the biggest mistakes. There's no question about that. That's the same in the traditional finance world. When you have the biggest bull market, no one cares about costs, no one cares about headcount, no one cares about much, because it's a fantastic. We're printing money. Whatever, and this is where big mistakes usually made in these times, and that's, I can understand to some certain extent, but at the same time, it is discipline. It's not just professionalism, it's discipline. Discipline, following your agenda, following your plan, following the due diligence, and don't slip. Even if we maybe go back into a bull market at one stage, I hope very much so, but it's going to take a while. It's you need to be on your toes every day, and you need to be very, very diligent and agile. And I think, sometimes here, and you need to have a clear business model, a clear goal. What is our goal? What do we want to achieve? And how do we want to achieve this? Given the limited resources we have, is this really something that is sustainable? And we want to have a sustainable business model. We want to have good opportunities. Is every opportunity you invest in is going to be fantastic? No, not. But the same is like, is private equity or venture capital a passive income? Yes, it is, like the stock market. But if you invest into it, you will know that you can control your return to some extent in the level you diversify. If you put everything on one risky asset, you might get a great return, but there's a big, big risk on that. And if it doesn't there, it's going to hurt. If you may I say it like that, put your eggs in many baskets, your risk is lower. Your return will be lower, but you are able to kind of in this way maneuver your risk return level, if you want to see it that way.
And I know you're a man who loves detail, and I know our community is going to appreciate that detail. We're not going to cover the detail now of the new business model for PCC. So Marcus, when will we know about this? Will a Medium article come out at a later date?
There will be a Medium article will be published. There will be also a second table talk with basically revealing in detail our business strategy going forward. My management team, all of these nitty-gritty bits that needs to be done right now. For me, it's paramount to put these things together. I'm not a big fan of doing things on the cuff and make certain announcements or commitments on live or on a camera. I am a person that is very, very rather risk averse. and very, very thoughtful and very anal, if you want to say it that way. To look at that, to plan that, to discuss that with my management team. And when we are ready and say, this is our plan, and everyone is basically carrying it, it's not just me and saying we're going to do this unilateral. It's everyone buying into it, and it is the best plan because everyone, every talent discussed it, had their input, and I'm grateful for having all of these opportunities to share this with my colleagues. To like today, there was another round that was fantastic. Some other point came up. And this is basically where you have with your management team a dialogue rather than a monologue. And I believe in a dialogue because I do believe that this is very, very powerful. And once we have that, there will be another table talk where we go into the detail and we will reveal this.
Marvelous. And I know internally, again, we've spoken about this, and the community want to know about this as well. Luke and Eric. We know Luke has gone on to Spectrum as CEO over there. Eric's still going to be involved to a degree, but more so in a more passive manner. Yeah. People want to know about their salaries. Now, are you happy, Marcus, to share about their
salaries? In my last moments as a CFO, if you want to say it that way, I can definitely confirm that. And, the co-founders, yes. Let's talk about that. So Luke is going to be the new CEO of Spectrum NFT, and great things are expected from him to make things there. Marvelous work going to be done there. We're looking very much forward to work with our partners. But Spectrum NFT and PCC are kind of two different construction sites, if you want to see it that way. And that's the way I see PCC right now. For me, it's a construction site. Okay, so I have to put things, I have to rectify certain things. And I have to fix the ship fix the plane while we fly. And I do have a plan. So I'm confident. I think people around me are confident. So Luke is doing this. Eric is moving to Thailand and is pursuing business interests there, which ultimately will be beneficial for PCC, which I'm very, very excited about. He still remains chairman of PCC. And both co-founders, as I can confirm here, do not receive, as of like quite a week or 2 weeks, as a week ago, have no more paychecks or receive no salaries. So they truly showed some leadership there. When the going gets tough, they said, look, we are the first ones that make this sacrifice. Everyone else got pay cuts. This is fine. This is what you do. You cannot expect to have the same pay, going through this. If you send a lot of people, you make them redundant, you need to sacrifice certain things as well. And we run the numbers. We say that's where we need to be. And that the numbers are very close to my heart. And when it comes to numbers, I have no emotions. And we did match it. And yes, here and there doesn't feel comfortable, but we believe we're going to get through that. And when we get through this winter, we will be able to get to the profits, and I'm confident with the right discipline and business model going forward and the right people around me that we can make this a success. And ultimately that means also that there will be a success for the community, because I do understand the frustration and people being upset and what has been communicated sometimes. There have been a lot of things which quite frankly, they were inconsistent. And that is just not good. And as I say, I try this. I'm a big believer in transparency. People that know me, the way I run meetings, the way I share things, that's what it is. That's how I am, and I won't change. So, this will be definitely a way more transparent management.
Good, because personally, I don't want you to change, Marcus. As I said,
no, I won't. I never done. I mean, I believe in that because when I was young, let me tell you that story. When I was young and started in a bank, I had an amazingly charismatic boss, and he had exactly this style. And I was junior, and I had the privilege to work and honor with very close to him, and he shared everything. And I was like, whoa, I'm not even I should not even see this out. And he said, look, you work here, you come here, you work 12 hours a day. You're one of the most committed guys. You have every right. I can see you have the fire. You want to go. You will run one day. You will run your own company, and that to me had such an impact and made such a difference. And I said, yes, you know what? The trust you now show me and everything, I felt like yes, I'm part of this that is I'm part of this company now, though I officially wasn't really, right? You know, it was a big bank, but this is what it takes. Once you get people bring you in, and you understand, and you see links and interactions, and people put this trust in you. This is a fantastic motivator. Do not understand. You know, at the end of the day, we work with people. Motivation, right? I mean, a goal. Set a goal. You can set it too high. You can set it too low. Never set it too low. Set it. If it's too high, it's okay. You can adjust. But you have to have a goal. We have to have an agenda. We have to say, look, you know, we want. You cannot just wake up and say, okay, I'm going to do this today, and then we see you next day. That's wrong, and that's not me. I'm sorry.
Hey, no apology needed, Marcus. And with everything that you've said, I know there's a lot for everyone taking in today. It's been a day full of information, a day full of emotions for many. Ultimately, if there's one thing that you want the community and everyone watching at home right now, what's one thing you want them to remember about you as the new CEO?
Integrity, transparency, and I think these are the two things that are the most important. Anything else is built on this, to be honest.
Beautiful. And we'll be watching you build, and we'll be supporting you as well. We look forward to finding out your team. We thank you for your time today, Marcus, and we'll see you very soon with a new Medium article that will be coming out, along with another interview as well.
Yes.
So thank you for your time, sir.
Well, let me thank you, Jordan, for all your work, your hard contribution. I'm very sad to see you going. So first of all, you know, as we had this discussion, you know, I'm personally, like, for me, you will always be part of this, and you know, you are extremely valuable to the whole PCC community, to everyone, and you will always be kind of with us. And you know, I hope one day, you know, we will see you back in a professional way with us again. That would be really lovely, you know, and definitely we stay in touch. And thank you so much for everything, not just this interview, but all the interactions I had with you as a CFO. That was, people doubted that I existed, but you know, at the end of the day, if people would have known the magnitude or the sheer of this mess, I preferred to clean up and rectify and put things into place as much as I could in my time, rather than go in public, because I thought, you know, it's a race against time, and we're still going ahead, but now we're going ahead full steam everywhere, to be honest.
Exactly. And now you have full control to clean up that mess.
Yes.
So yes. I'm proud that you're now in the leadership role. Thank you for your kind words, Marcus. It was a heavy decision, and I'm glad to be part of the community.
Yes, thank you so much, and all the best to you as well, personally as well as on a professional level.
It means the world. And for the Phoenix Knights watching at home, we will see you next week with a new interview, both me and on camera with Marcus, and sadly not myself, but you're in safe hands with John. Until then, ciao for now.
Thank you very much.